Hi, we're Mark and Kitty Cheney, and today we're covering step 3, SMART goals.
SMART goals.
What are SMART goals?
SMART goals are goals that follow the SMART outline. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time based. And so we set our goals according to that outline.
Mm-hmm.
For example, they were specific.
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 Okay.
So specific means, for example, get healthier. If we just set the goal of get healthier, that's not specific. How do you know what you're doing? How do you know what arena you are setting that goal in, and how do you know when it's achieved? You could get healthier through weight release, through eating healthier foods, through doing more workouts. There's lots of different ways you could get healthier. It's not a specific goal, so it doesn't help you to move forward and achieve it. My goal, my specific goal was wearing a pink silk suit. I wanted to fit back into a pink silk suit that I had last fit into years before, like 20 plus years before. It was a size 8, and I was currently a size 22. So I had a ways to go.
Big goal.
Big goal.
Big change.
Mm-hmm.
Well worth it.
Very well worth it. What was your specific goal?
Well, I was 215 pounds,
mm-hmm.
and I wanted to get down to 165. I hadn't been 165 since I was 20.
Okay. So we both had specific goals. Next, they needed to be measurable. And the reason for that, if we just set a goal of lose weight, so we picked from the specific list and we picked lose weight. If we just picked that, it's not measurable. How do we know when it's achieved? When we've achieved it at 1 pound lost, now we've lost weight. Is it through size? You can pick measurable through size in inches. You can pick measurable through weight loss, through ounces of water you're drinking. Any of those ways makes it measurable, but there needs to be some numbers involved. So for me, with that pink silk suit, it wasn't measurable, at least not in a way that I could track, that I could tell where I was at and how far I was in my progress towards it. So I adjusted my goal and said that I wanted to be at 145. I wanted to weigh 145 pounds because that was the weight that I had last been at when I could fit into that suit years before. So that's where my specific measurable goal came in.
In mine, again, being 165, I hadn't been there since I was in college. That was when I was my healthiest. A lot of roller skating.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of karate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I was also on the small side of medium. And here in this diet, I was on the XL side of large.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to make that change. And using an app to enter in our weights in inches helped us to be able to track that and basically map out our progress. Yeah. And so every Sunday morning, after going to the bathroom and releasing all that we were holding in.
Yes.
Yeah. Because every little tenth of a pound counts.
It does.
Yeah. And also before eating, so it was before breakfast, and we would wear the same clothes. So whatever that means.
Just so that it was a consistent weight every time.
All right. And then we helped each other out by giving congratulations and high fives and no critiques.
Yeah. And we helped each other with the measurements too.
Yeah, that tape measure was cold.
It was. But regardless of whether we had dropped considerably, dropped a little bit, or dropped none at all, and occasionally raised a bit, didn't matter. We always offered compliments and encouragement and no critiques.
No critiques. Which then we went to the next step.
And so the next step in SMART goals is attainable. It's important that your goals feel attainable to you. Losing 100 pounds in 100 days is not attainable. It's too hard to do. And if you don't believe it, you won't do it. And so it's not worth it to set a goal that you do not believe is attainable. And so we needed to make sure that our goal felt attainable to us. And the way we accomplished that is we chose a proven program. I had been watching friends online that had had success on the diet program that we chose. And so I knew they could do it, and therefore I could do it. We picked a coach who provided support and held us accountable. And she was the most used coach among those successful friends. So I knew that I would have the support that I needed to get through this program. It also came with guidebooks, recipes, and packaged snacks called Fuelings. It addressed all of the concerns that we had from our past diet failures. And so all the reasons why I would have to say, well, it would work for them, but not for us because of XYZ evidence, they were all addressed here. We made sure that they were all resolved so that we did feel that this diet program was attainable for us.
Well, the confidence you had in because of the research you've done, and the testimonials from those you knew who had gone through the diet and had success, allowed us to plug into that success as well.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, but also there was enough wiggle room in the diet to allow us to make it our own. Yeah, and so, but even with that, making it our own, we still had visible progress. We had that weight tracking app, so we could go back and see how it was mapped out. It would give us the scales, and you could do all the reports, and you could be as detailed as you want or not at all.
Yep.
But as long as you were putting in the information, you had proof to your reticular activating system that what you were doing had you on the right track and that you could keep doing this.
Yes.
We did photo documentation.
We did. We took photos at the beginning and partway through.
Not very complimentary photos at the beginning.
No, not very complimentary.
No. Looking back at those, it's like, I don't recognize that person.
I agree.
And so we have our before and afters. Okay. And our before and afters.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got several that we did along the way. And then what we had, you had your photo shoot.
Yes, we had some small photo shoots along the way.
Because what we had headshots. I got into acting. We had events that we were speaking at.
Yeah, we had various different opportunities to have photos taken along the way, and therefore we had some documentation of the progress that we were making. Yep. And so the next step on the SMART goals is relevant.
Relevant.
It's important that the goals be relevant to you.
And that they mean something to us.
That they mean something, yes.
Yeah, that type of relevance.
Yeah, if somebody else is telling you, you should do this, you should do that, and you set a goal around it, it doesn't matter to you. And so when the temptations arise, you're going to give in. If you don't
stick to it, would you?
If you don't care, you won't stick to it.
No.
It's important that it is relevant to you, and it was important that these goals were relevant to us. And
well, I had to care about your goals, and you had to care about mine.
Yeah,
it was a we.
It is
not the game.
No, not the game,
but us.
Yeah, we both cared about each other's goals, but in particular, I cared about mine, and you cared about yours. But
I was also excited for you achieving yours.
Yes.
Yeah, and you too for me.
Absolutely. No, there was no one saying that we should do something, and because that's just not motivating. For me, that suit, I love that suit. It is the oldest clothing item I have. I have, of all the things that I've cleaned out of my wardrobe over the years, gone, oh, I'll never fit into that again, or the style is old, whatever. Not that suit. I have hung on to that because I love it so much. So that mattered to me that I could fit back into this clothing item.
Oh yeah, and then for me, I was at that time at that weight. That was the best shape I've been in my life, and hadn't been since until now. And now I've far exceeded anything I was ever able to do in my 20s, which is weird. But exciting.
And so cool.
It's so cool. I mean, I was ice skating for 6 hours the other day.
You were.
And I didn't need hardly any breaks.
Yeah, back to your roller rink days.
Yeah. And recovery time, wow. Usually when I do something like that, I'd be 3 days laid up.
Yeah. It was important to you.
I was still going the next day.
It was important to you that you get back into that best shape of your life again.
Well, and I'm able achieved so far. That would not have been possible any other way.
No, not at all. So our last step in SMART goals is time-based. It is very important that you put a time, a deadline, a time to aim for. It doesn't have to be that you must achieve it by this date or you've failed. It can be a target date. Target dates are great. Mm-hmm. And you can move it if you need to. That's just fine. Mm-hmm. But if there's no deadline, then there's no reason to overcome. You can just keep pushing it off and give in one more time and one more time. And eventually you just let it go. It is important to have a target date, to have a time-based goal. On weight release, I mean, you could set a weight release goal for however many pounds you're going to do. And if there's no time, are you going to achieve it when you finally get bone loss when you're 90 years old? I mean, you've got to set a date for when you want to achieve this by. And for me, that photo shoot that I had scheduled, that photo shoot provided me a deadline that I wanted to achieve my goal by. And it already mattered. It wasn't something that I had picked that was designed to motivate me. It wasn't designed to push me. It was already there. It already mattered to me. Now, if you don't have something that's already there, you can pick something that matters to you. But it's important that it truly matters and that it has a deadline attached to it, at least that target date. And so for me, in December, I signed up for this personal photo shoot. It's a $500 personal photo shoot. It was pretty.
No, that's December before we started the diet.
That's the December before we started the diet. I hadn't even decided to do a diet yet. I had just signed up for this personal photo shoot, scheduled it for April, and I was visualizing. Once I decided to do a diet, now I was visualizing wearing my pink silk suit for that photo shoot. And I was excited to do that. I was excited to be back in that suit and to have that success recorded and documented by wearing it for this big, expensive, fancy, pampering treat for me of a photo shoot. And because of that, I just wasn't tempted. It mattered so much more to me than whatever Snickers bar or cookies happened to be in front of me. I wanted that photo shoot, and I wanted to wear the pink silk suit in it. And that was really important and mattered to me. So in January, we started the diet. And in March, we recognized that we had significant progress, but I wasn't going to achieve it by April. I could tell that wasn't going to happen. And so I did move that deadline. As I mentioned, it can be a target date and you can adjust. I adjusted mine. I rescheduled the photo shoot out to July because I thought I could achieve it by then. And I really wanted to. In June, I was really close. I'm like, oh, do I push it again or not? Because I'm not quite there and I don't think I'm going to achieve it. But I was so close. And at the time, I decided to honor all that I had achieved and go ahead and hold the photo shoot, whether I could fit into it or not. Come July, and my photo shoot's early in July, I went, you know what? Let me just try it one more time. And I did it. I was barely able to squeeze in. Barely able, but I did do it. I managed to get into it in July. I couldn't zip it up. I had to wear Spanx. I had to suck in as much as I could, and I couldn't zip it up. But I did get into it. And I did take photos in it. And then my photographer helped me out with a little bit of touch-up here and there on those photos. But I got into it. I got to wear it for the photo shoot. I was so excited to wear it. And then I set a new goal. I set a new goal to fit comfortably into that suit, to fit comfortably into it by December, and a gala that I was attending that I would be speaking at. And I wanted to wear the pink silk suit there comfortably. So August through November, we had lots of travel.
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun, lots of travel. It was harder to hold to the diet, but we still stuck to it. We were still motivated. But we gave ourselves grace and patience. Lots of grace, lots of patience as we went through that. And come December, I wore it. I wore it to the gala event, and my goal was achieved. And that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I had achieved my goal by the end of June. So I'd had 5 months and averaged about 10 pounds a month and got down to my weight. But now it was time to prove that I could stay on maintenance and maintain that.
And you had a photo shoot in May.
That is true. I had a photo shoot before I'd actually hit my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I was still 15 pounds away, but I also, I was pulling stuff out of my old clothing box to find stuff to wear.
Uh-huh. Your photo shoot was for acting.
It was.
And you needed the photos.
I needed them desperately, but I had to go pull out clothes that were 15, 20 years old that we had not gotten rid of.
Just a few items here and there.
Just a few items here and there, and got lucky with that.
Yes, you did.
But yeah, so I achieved my goal, and so here we are, a year after starting this diet, well, a year plus after starting this diet, and for me, I'm proving that I can maintain this. And you've been just a couple of months after reaching your goal, and you're proving that you can maintain it.
Yes,
and
we
it's
are.
all from following these SMART goal outlines and making this tangible.
Yes.
It's something that means something, so that it's not just an arbitrary statement. It's something you can hold yourself accountable to.
It's very specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based goals, and we achieved both of ours.
Yeah.
We highly recommend that as you are considering setting your own goals, that you follow the same outline. Make them specific, make them attainable, make them measurable. I skipped my L. Make them specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Follow the SMART goal outline and you are more likely to achieve your goals.
And if you like what you see here, then click like and subscribe at the bottom, and we will see you on the next video.